From Comets, I'm Prajwal D'Souza, and this is Hostile Earth. In today's episode, I am going to talk on climate change denialism and its devastating effects. It is reported that by 2040, people can sail over the North Pole during summer. There won't be any sea ice left in the Arctic Ocean. Climate change is a rise in average surface temperature on Earth. One may ask, how does it occur? Well, the primary cause of climate change is the burning of fossil fuels such as oil and coal, which emit greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. It can also be caused by other human activities such as agriculture and deforestation, which contribute to the increase of greenhouse gases that cause climate change. It is also a phenomenon which is considered a hoax by many, mainly the President of the United States, Donald Trump.
It's supposed to be 70 degrees today. It's freezing here. Speaking of global warming, we need some global warming. It's freezing. Man. In fact, this is a record cold spell on the whole big section of the United States. It's not just Rochester. The whole big section is like record cold. And I keep hearing about global warming. Now they'll say, he doesn't understand. This is a worldwide problem. Oh, no, I don't understand.
The US Congress is filled with climate change deniers. Why? Because they are funded by fossil fuel interests. In Before the Flood, a documentary on climate change, a scientist claimed that folks like the Koch brothers, who own Koch Industries, finance a very large echo chamber of climate change deniers, which has led the US to withdraw itself from the Paris Agreement on climate change. However, the situation is a little better in India, but it is slowly catching up. A land once filled with lush greenery is now moving towards being a concrete jungle. Well, unlike the US, India is an integral part of the Paris Climate Agreement. But in recent years, pollution has reached its peak in India. In cities like Delhi and Bengaluru, it is hard to commute without wearing a mask. A recent study by the New York Times states that Bengal tigers may not survive climate change. These cats are among 500 other land species that are threatened because of climate change. So where does the problem lie? Well, we humans use certain products without even realizing its direct or indirect consequences on nature and climate. Let me give you an example. Palm oil, which is used every day in various products and is used by millions, has a direct effect on the environment. How? Well, every day to plant palm trees, a large number of forests are destroyed in Indonesia. From cooking oil to cosmetics to detergents, palm oil is used everywhere. We have successfully replaced almost 6 crore acres of virgin jungle with palm trees, which is pushing many animals into extinction. The orangutans, which at one point had a huge population in Indonesia, are now at the verge of extinction. I want you to close your eyes and listen to this. Isn't it magnificent? It is the sound of a narwhal, a species of whale which inhabit the Arctic waters. But due to climate change, these beauties are threatened. Increasing demands for oil and gas, which in turn will lead to climate change, pose direct threats to narwhals. I also talked to Professor Nived Uthaya, a scientist and an advocate for climate change, and asked him how serious is the issue today.
Climate change is certainly the most serious global environmental crisis that we're facing today. It is a curious problem and it is hard to discuss it. We will suffer the consequences of climate change despite the extent of our sacrifices. At the same time, waiting for others to do something and not doing something oneself is also not an option, especially in terms of adaptation.
Yes, waiting for others to do something is not really an option. But are we doing anything? Who is responsible here? I see people still use plastic although it has been banned. I see people driving 2, 3 cars when they only need one, or in some cases, none. I see people praying in churches and temples for rain but go out and do nothing but pollute the environment. I know it sounds like a cliche, but it is us who are solely responsible for climate change, and if we don't do anything now, the next generation will be left with a world without its beauty. It is high time that we take the pledge to save our environment.